Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing this morning? I hope your morning is off to a wonderful, fantastic start. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. Not your first time here, hi, welcome back. If you enjoy any and all things makeup related, you're definitely going to want to hit that subscribe button, click the little bell, and let's go ahead and let's dive on into today's video. I had placed a large Sephora VIB sale order. I had gone through everything that I had purchased in a previous video. I will link that down below. But today we're actually going to try out some of those products. So I'm excited. We're going to be trying out the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. We're going to try out the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Highlight Wand. We're going to try out the Dior Powder No Powder, the Charlotte Tilbury Bronzer, the Charlotte Tilbury the new highlighter. Then we have the Too Faced Born This Way Sunset Stripped Palette. And then last is we have two of these LYS type, what are these called? Cream blush products. So we have all of this to try out today. I am so excited to be able to put some of this on my face, see what I think of it, if I like it, if I don't. If you guys are excited as well, then definitely keep on watching. All right, so first up here is the Sunset Strip palette. If you have ever seen like their nearly neutrals or their nude one, it's set up the exact same way as this. You have like the large mattes that are like in here, and then you have the little shimmers, just because you're probably not using as many shimmers as you are matte. So there's the way the setup. I will say there's one negative about this palette. This is heavily fragrance, like floral. I am not a huge fragrance fan in my eyeshadows, or mostly like most of my makeup products. I'm just not a huge fan of. But if it is going to be mixed with something, I would prefer it not to be florals. So this is the palette. It has a nice sized mirror in it. I definitely want to go a little bit more of like a pinky-ish route. I think that's what I'm going to try to do today. So I'm going to dab off into this first shade right here called Golden Hour. And that's going to be our first shade. Has some slight kick up in the pan, but honestly, not that bad, not a lot. My eyelids are already primed. It's blending nicely, like it just blends out so like super easily. Actually, I have not zoomed you guys in. Let me do that. I've zoomed you guys in. Also, don't mind all of my husband's stuff in the background. He left it. He was supposed to take it to work, left it here, said that he was going to be coming and getting it because he had to come this way for work anyways. So I'm leaving it there so we can just open up the door and literally just like grab it and go. But okay, so far this first shade, Golden Hour, I'm not having any issues with it at all. Builds up nicely, blends out nicely. There was like some like hiccup in the pan, but I'm not really experiencing a ton of hiccup. The shade I'd like to go into with is going to be this shade right here. This is called Chai Time. It's a little bit more of like a darkerish kind of pinky type shade. And so we're just going to focus that lower into the crease. Again, it's really pigmented. It's blending really nicely within like the other shade. Slight kick up in the pan. The only issue that I'm really having is like I can definitely smell like the floralness of this palette, and it's starting to give me a headache. Okay, I'm just not about it. Alright, so finally for the outer corner, I'm going to go into this shade right here. This is called Cocoa Glow. And we are going to just work that on the outer corner. So next up, I've glitter primed my eyelids with my NYX glitter glue. I'm going to go into the shade right here called Hey Honey. I'm going to take that on a finger and just have that on my lid. So then I want to take, because it's a little bit more of like a topperish type shade, this shade right here, it's kind of got like a gold pink to it. It's called Shall We Dance. I'm going to take a little bit of that up on my finger. I wonder if you can see like the shift in it. And just like start tapping that like right on over the top. So I can kind of create my own custom color. Ooh, yeah. And when it shifts, you can totally see that pink. Oh, that's beautiful. So now I need to go prime my face so I can come back and we can continue on with the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. Alright, so now we're going to do the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. It just says it has hyaluronic acid, turmeric, and ashwagandha in it. So we're going to take out one pump. Alright, so that's one pump. I feel like it's going to be like a decent shade match. I'm going to start pouncing in foundation. See how well it covers everything. So this is really nice. I will say it's definitely a medium coverage, which is what I really like. My skin is super dry. I do have texture, but it's not overly emphasizing any of my texture. It doesn't look cakey. It really is just sinking just right on in. Alright, so I've gone with some concealer, some cream bronzer. So next up we have these LYS High Standard Satin Matte Cream Blushes. So, oop, my finger dug into that one. So we have this one right here, which is called Inspire. And then we have this one right here, which is called Kindness. I usually always go into ones like Kindness. So I kind of want to try out this one right here, Inspire. So I'm just going to take that on the back of my sponge. Okay, really, really creamy. I mean, just picked up on the sponge so quickly and easily. I'm just going to sit here and start pouncing it out. So if you love blush and aren't afraid I'm going overboard, these are definitely going to be the cream blushes for you. Especially with how like easy it is just to just like pounce them out. And it's like picked up just like so easily. So next up we have the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Beauty Light Wand. So I do have the contour stick, but I don't have this, and I hear a ton of good things about it. So I can't, it feels like I'm putting stuff on, but like I can't like really see anything. So let's just like blend that out with like a finger. I don't know, I can't really tell like if anything. Yeah, you can tell, I guess. But it does lay down kind of quickly. I will definitely say that. So this is interesting. I don't know if it's necessarily like my favorite, but I don't hate it either. So next up we have the Dior Powder No Powder. So I'm actually going to take this and I'm just going to take it on my Blendiful. I wanted to call it a Beautiful. I think it's called a Blendiful. And I'm just going to start tapping it into my skin. Just because sometimes with like these like serum-ish foundations, if I go in with like a brush or anything, it like lifts a lot. And it definitely feels like a really tacky kind of foundation. So I definitely want to just like tap it in my skin. So now I do want to finish up my lower lash line. So I'm going to go ahead, take my palette, and I'm going to take the Chai Times, which is kind of like that second darkest shade that we went into. And I'm going to start pressing that up against the lash line. Then I'm going to go into that darkest shade we went into, Cocoa Glow, and just focus that just like right here on like this portion of like the outer corner. Last is I'm going to take that shade Golden Hour, and I'm just going to smoke that just like right underneath my lash line. Now we have the bronzer from Charlotte Tilbury. This thing is ginormous. Mine is in the shade Fair. I hope it's not like too fair for me, truthfully, but we will see how well this works. So, oh yeah, nope, so far so good. Definitely not too light. Next up, we do have this Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. This is what the inside looks like. I'm just gonna kind of just like mix them together, see what we get. Oh, okay, so basically if you tap your brush off, it just disappears. So let's just see what happens. And we put it on, if anything. Okay, so I'm now going to go off camera, finish off the rest of my makeup, come back so we can talk about my first impression thought. Alright, so here is the completed look. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Let's go ahead, let's kind of talk over some of like my first impression thoughts on the products. So first of all, this LYS Triple Fix foundation, I really like this. I think this really sank nicely into my skin. It is very nice, very hydrating as it claims. Definitely is that serum-ish type of foundation. Was a medium coverage, so I do really enjoy this. These LYS Satin Matte Blushes, these were really good. They were really nice, really creamy, pigmented, really easy to blend out. You didn't have to use a lot. I really did enjoy that. This Dior Powder No Powder, I used it tapping it in with my Blendiful, and I just feel like it looks kind of rough in some areas. So I do want to kind of try this out where I could use this with just a brush and see what my results are. Just because I'm not liking the way that it sets with like the Blendiful. Then for this eyeshadow palette that we have right here, this Too Faced Born This Way Sunset Stripped. I think like the look I created, really nice. They were pigmented, blendable. The mattes were really nice. The shimmers really nice and creamy. Really went on the face, or on the eyes nicely. I really do enjoy that. I just wish this wasn't so heavily fragranced. It is so heavily fragranced that it really is giving me a headache. All right, I cannot find the Charlotte Tilbury, like the little wand. We'll go ahead and talk about that here now. I thought it was okay. Like, it was decent. I will say that like I couldn't really tell if any of it was even getting on my skin, and then when it came to like blending it out, it had already sat. So it was kind of it quickly sat. Wasn't, you know, anything to write home about. I don't think it was worth the massive amount of hype that it got, and it sold out and stayed sold out for like ever. The Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, I love how like nice and big the bronzer is. Like, it is like just very nice and large. I think it's really nice, especially for my fair skin. I think it does a great job on my fair skin. It's definitely like the right color. So I don't have any issue with that. And then the final thing, I found it. It was right here in front of me. Yeesh. Okay, and then for like this highlighter, I really do like it. It's definitely like a very like just beautiful lit from within type of glow. I wouldn't say it's like blinding in your face. I wouldn't say it's like super like natural either. I think it's like a nice like in between. So I really do like that. It wasn't too dark. I was able to kind of mix all of these and it not be too dark. I think it's a really good formula. I don't find it to be like overly glittery or anything. It does emphasize texture, but almost all highlighters do. So it's just something to be mindful of, but I don't think like this is bad. So when it comes to how would I rank these things, like what should you pick up versus what should you not based on my ranking. In last place, I would probably put this Pillow Talk Beauty Light Wand Highlighter. Again, it just wasn't something that just absolutely blew me away. Again, I thought it was okay, but I didn't think it was like earth-changing, earth-shattering. This Your Powder No Powder, I hear a lot of people rave about this. I don't know if the people that are raving about this have like really like have dry or oily skin or combo. Mine's definitely dry, and it may have been the way that I applied it where it just looks a little bit like heavy in this area. So it may be, you know, it may do better with a brush. Definitely one that I'm going to have to play around with a little bit more, but for right now, with as expensive as it was, that's where it's at. It's second to the bottom. Next up is going to be this Too Faced Born This Way Sunset Stripped. Here's the thing. I think this is a really good palette. I think this is a really beautiful palette, if we're going to be perfectly honest. This is a beautiful, beautiful palette. It is the scent. If it did not have that scent, I would have easily have ranked this much higher because I love the eye look that I created. It was super easy, effortless to do. Everything went blended well together. It was pigmented, nice and soft. Everything like that, but it's just, the smell is, it's seriously strong and it's a little bit overbearing. Next up is probably going to be this bronzer. It's just like a really expensive bronzer, and granted, like, you know, I do like it. I just don't think it's like necessarily like my #1 favorite bronzer. It's not like one that I have to have, but I will say that it is a decent bronzer, especially like if you're in the market for one and you're okay with paying a higher price point. I think that's a really good option. Next up is probably going to be the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. Again, I think that this was a really good highlighter, you know, went on beautifully. I just personally, I don't know, like the whole like different colors, because like it does, when you swatch them, like come off as like different colors. And truthfully, by themselves, I would maybe be able to use 2, and the other 2 I really wouldn't. So, you know, for me, I'd only be able to use like half of it. But I don't think it's a bad highlighter, especially like when mixed together. You do have the option to have them separate. So I do think that's like, it's really nice. Again, it looks really beautiful on the skin. I mean, it's just like so beautiful. It's not like super like bam, blinding, but it's also like not the most natural. It's just like that perfect in between. And I love that. Here's the part that's going to get a little bit complicated because number 2 and number 1, I really do enjoy these. So, but number 2, I'm going to give to the blush. These blushes are so nice, creamy, emollient, pigmented. I mean, literally, I just took it on the back of my sponge a couple of times, and I was able to cover both cheeks beautifully, able to be toned down, blended out like a dream. That is a really, really good product. I really do like these. I'm glad I have 2 of them. I'm honestly thinking about picking up maybe a couple more shades, just because, like, again, like that's just like that's a really good solid cream blush formula. I don't think you can get much better. I mean, there might be better ones out there, but I think that's a really, really good option, especially from Sephora. These are super cheap for the Sephora price point. These are $18. You're not going to find probably very many more cream blushes at $18 or less from Sephora, unless you're talking about like the Sephora collection. But I'm talking about like any like Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, any other ones that are there. You're not going to find it at the $18 price point, especially for like as much product as you get. Like you get a good substantial amount of product. You get 6.5 grams. So I think you do get a good amount. But the number 1 I'm going to have to give is to this LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. I love the way that this has just sank into my skin. It provided that medium coverage that I personally look for, that I really like. That's because I do have redness. I do have some problem acne areas, and the fact that I was able to just like do 1 pump and it covered my whole face with that really nice medium coverage, really nice hydration, looks really nice, sank beautifully into the skin. I really love that. And for somebody who has dry skin like me, that's definitely something that I'm looking for. I have heard some people say really negative things about this. I also don't know what their skin type was. I can't remember off the top of my hand. They may have been more oily, so this may not be for them. But for me, who has like really dry skin, like the fact that like everything sat really nicely on top of the skin, everything blended nicely into this foundation. There's not really anything bad that I can really honestly say about this foundation. Of course, a wear test, you know, would be like the end all be all, but overall, like I think it turned out, I mean, it's like really good. All right, so that is it for today's video. That is testing out some new Sephora makeup. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if there's any more makeup you guys would like for me to pick up and test out. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet already. And I will see you all in my next one.